Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy! Hey folks, this is episode number 275. We're getting close to that 300. Only about 6 more months away. But anyway, we have Brian Powell on tonight, and he is the bass player for Resisting Bite. How you doing, Brian?
Good to be here, guys.
Right on. Now, I don't know.
That looks good.
Yeah, Bill's got to show off.
Hey, got to support our peeps, man.
Yeah, so for the people who are listening, Bill showed his Resisting Bite album.
Well, it's more of a CD. It's got 3 songs on it, so
Yeah, the appetizer for what's about to come is what that is. We've been demoing together for a couple years, almost 2 years, and so we got a bunch of stuff that we wrote that didn't make the record. The Myth I'm Living, we came out with a video for that. That's on the CD on the EP that you have, and because it just kind of got released as a mistake. And so we just kind of went with it because COVID happened and everything. We decided, well, it's out there. Let's get it mastered and make a video for it and do something with it, you know, and that kind of got the ball out there and rolling for us. And then the song Ode to Lemmy on there is just a demo that we recorded up at this place in Kentucky. We were doing all our demoing at. And that song is, all the words are words from Motorhead songs. You know, he adds a couple words just to connect the words a little bit, but all the words in that song are all from Motorhead songs. So it's like a total ode to Lemmy. And then there's a little acoustic track on there called Pain. And that's, I'm not even on that. That's just, I think that's Nate, Tommy, and Steve. That's just the 3 of them on that one. And that one didn't quite make it to the full band thing, but we decided it sounded pretty good, just acoustic and real subtle, you know.
So speaking of those other names, tell everybody who all is in the band.
Resisting Bite is me, Tommy Skio from Tesla. I'm sure you guys all know him from that. And Oots is our singer, and David Parks on drums, and Steven Stokes on the other guitar.
Cool.
Dave Parks actually kind of brought the whole group of us together. The drummer Dave, he knows a lot around in the music scene, and he did a real good job of finding all us hooligans to throw together.
We put together a pretty damn good band. I hate to tell you, for hooligans.
Us 3 were very lucky to see you guys at the pre-party for the ROCKNPOD, and I had no idea what was going to happen. You know, and I'd never heard anything that you guys had played. And we were like sitting there, and then all of a sudden, it's like, for me, okay, here's a new band and a bunch of songs I don't know. You know, I'm just be time to go get a beer, do whatever. Dude, I'm telling you, my wife is the same way, that kind of person. And we both, the whole time you guys were playing, going, oh my God, these guys are fucking. I mean, we were just, what are they going to do next? What are they going to do next? I mean, honestly, that's the first time that's ever actually happened to me. I was like, these guys have got their shit together, and this is really good.
Great to hear. Thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. It's finally fun to get it out to people and get a response and see, you know, you record these songs and you're part of the whole process of writing them and getting them to the studio, even that far. Sometimes it's hard to tell what you like, if that's what other people are gonna like, you know. And it's cool to kind of get a judge from what the crowds. We played 3 shows, but we've already started to get a sense of what songs are really sticking out to people and stuff. And that's it all just kind of starting up like that, you know. And then we were able to entertain a crowd with a bunch of songs that nobody had heard. It was fun. That was a fun night. And there was some of my musical heroes right there in the crowd. So it made it even better that we performed.
I was honestly, I was kind of surprised. I don't know the history of Tommy leaving Tesla or any of that. So I was kind of surprised that there were a couple of Tesla songs in the set list. Was there a reason that you picked the songs that you picked, or how did y'all come up with that?
Ones that Tommy had a big part of in Tesla, So, we weren't going to do something that he didn't have a hand in writing. So that was a big part of which ones we picked. I think that some people just wanted to hear that. I think that they wanted to hear us do some of that stuff out of the gates a little bit to kind of have a little interest and keep the crowd. Because like you said, with all the brand new material people have never heard, sometimes if you got something like that you can throw in, it's not always a bad thing. Definitely, we don't plan on playing Tesla songs forever, but I think it's not a bad thing at this point coming straight out of the gates right now. But yeah, eventually that'll just be all in the past.
Yeah, but that's part of the history. So there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, but to your point, it should be a minimal part, not the main focus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think we kept it at a pretty good spot. I think we played for an hour, and I think we did three Tesla songs, one of which was a fairly short one. And the ones that we did, they definitely match up to kind of the style that we're playing in Resist and Bite. Also, it wasn't like we played a Tesla song and it just didn't fit into what we were doing. We picked songs that definitely were fitting what we were doing. But that's Tommy. He is a songwriting machine. Like I can't even keep up with the text messages that he sends of all his riffs. He's just constantly going. So it's great. His influence is definitely stamped all over this thing.
Yeah, the Rare Hair shows are always real good, and it was good that night. But I tell you what, you guys set the bar pretty damn high for those guys when they come out after you. It's like going, holy shit, we got to follow this. I mean, it was really good. Now your lead singer who has he played with before, or has he been kind of?
His I guess his most notable thing was he's been out playing with George Lynch and Lynch Mob.
Oh,
and he gosh, now I can't remember, but down in Atlanta a while back, the band that was they got signed to some major label, but I can't remember the name of the band.
No, he's got a really good stage presence. I mean, that dude, you could tell that wasn't his first rodeo. When he got up there, he had control and was, had the crowd going and knew what to do. And my wife's like, man, because she was really, really impressed with that. That's a lot of times you get a band like that. You either got a really good singer or a shitty band, or you've got a great band and a crappy singer, but you guys had it all. I mean, it's a good package.
Yeah, Nathan is, he's pretty phenomenal. I got to see some videos from that night, and I thought we played pretty good, but I thought that, like, if we were giving out awards that evening, I think Nate took it, man. He killed it. He really did good. I think if we would have had a light show there, it would have just been over the top. It would have, you know what I mean? That's one thing I missed from watching the videos. I was like, oh man, if we had a light show, it would have been amazing. But yeah, Nate, he knows how to command a crowd. It's not his first rodeo. He's done a lot of tribute band stuff. We're doing Aerosmith, so he's gone through the whole Steven Tyler kind of school of rock a little bit, I'm sure, of stage presence and how to work it, because he's one of the masters. So Nate is a great lead singer. We asked for a lead singer and we got one.
That's an interesting fact that you brought up there, because that's one thing my wife said, and she doesn't say a lot about, she loves music, but she don't really talk about, and she looked at me at one point, she goes, he kind of looks and reminds me of Steven Tyler. That's where that comes from, I guess.
That's the rock and roll mojo,
I thought your set was very well placed in that evening. I mean, you had some great players before you guys came on that really kind of got things rolling. And then I felt bad for those guys in rare hair after you guys got finished. Really, because it was like, I don't know if they were on the sidelines watching. I would have been. I'd have been on the sidelines watching, going, "Oh shit!"
Faces there on the side of the stage.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I saw some faces over on the side of the stage that were coming up, that they were over there watching.
Nice. Yeah, because like I told you, in Nashville, you guys just brought the energy, and the energy level was so high when you guys got finished playing, and it was, and the rare hair stuff is great, and a lot of great players, and
Tyson
Leslie
does a good job.
Yeah, Tyson does a great job. His name was like right there. Thank you.
I have stumbled on it too. So
yeah, he does a great job with that whole thing. But it just, like, the energy level from what you guys had just started to drop a little bit with people, and it was just timing. You had to wait for people to change and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was on. I mean, I think everybody was up here. It was crazy.
Brought in some energy for sure. I noticed that the energy of the place and the looks on the faces of the people, definitely a little step hotter. And it was cool. There was a great energy, and that's one of the great things about Resist and Bite, is that we all get along, and it's always a really good energy in the whole creative process of everything. I think that definitely comes across when we get the chance to play our creation for everybody.
So that was your third show, right?
Our third show. Yeah, it was supposed to be, but some stuff came up, and we were actually pretty relieved that some stuff up in Ohio came up for us, because we didn't want our very first show to be in front of all these monster musicians that were there to play rare hair. So it was nice to actually get a couple under our belt before that. We did we did a show outside of Cincinnati, was our first show. And then the next night we were in Columbus, and we opened for the Dead Daisies, which was a great gig, and that crowd loved us and very responsive. And we've been pretty lucky so far. 3 gigs in, and we're doing pretty good.
Well, speaking of 3 gigs in, what kind of tour plans do you guys have?
Right now, it's all about getting this record out, and then try to start booking stuff. Everything is so on edge right now as far as booking things. Really a hard time. But hopefully with the record coming out, that will at least give us a little more of a spark for other interest, to get on some bigger stuff. Until then, we're just kind of plugging away here and there. So hopefully with this label we're talking to, some of that will come. I can't say anything more about that, but we are talking with this label.
You know what? Kiss just hired a painter to open up for them. They should hire you guys. Actually, they don't want to. They probably kick you guys off because they're like, oh, then these guys are they're showing us up too much.
That's funny. I was thinking about that today when they were showing that it was going to be that painter guy again. I was like, God, after what we just saw last Saturday night, they're missing the boat, man. Takes a new band out that's out on the road with you, and man, let those people have a good time. Don't be taking that same bullshit out. But hey, whatever.
More music. But art's cool, I guess, but I don't know how rock and roll it is.
I can tell you, it ain't.
I seen him 3 times paint, and it didn't get any better after the first one. Trust
me.
So
when is the record expected to come out? Do you have a date yet, or is it still in the works?
Next 2 months it should be out. Yeah, not an exact date, but yeah, definitely the next couple months. We have kind of a projected date, but sometimes those get moved back a little. So definitely in the next couple months before the end of the year. So very, very soon.
Cool. Does it have a title yet?
It's not fully. It pretty much does, but it's not 100%.
So as far as the album though, it is recorded, and you're in the mixing stages now, or what?
Recorded. It's all in the pressing stages now. Finished up and stuff like that. But yeah, all the music's done. It's good.
So pressing as in vinyl, that kind of pressings?
Vinyl, CD, flash drives, and then setting up the whole Spotify and everything else, getting all that set up in Apple Music.
Cool. Two of us are really interested in the vinyl section of the playlist.
Yeah. I worked pretty small pressing at first, to see how it goes, because it can be kind of interesting what your fan base is, you know what I mean? But we're definitely gonna do a small pressing of vinyl out the gate, and I definitely want to get a copy of that, because to this date, as of right now, I don't have anything of my recorded music on vinyl, so that'd be a cool thing for me. I got another project that I worked with. We recorded this last year too. That's probably gonna come out on vinyl too. So depending on which album comes out first, it'll be my first vinyl.
Cool.
How many tracks are going to be on the new album?
13.
13. Ooh, lucky number.
The full album, yeah. And not sure how it happened that way, but yeah, that's where we landed at 13. It was almost only going to be 12, and then kind of at the end of the thing, we recorded one last song, acoustic, all together in one room at the same time. And so that was the 13th. It was one that was kind of there that we had demoed and stuff, and nobody really thought that it was gonna ever see the light of anything. And Mike Rosen, who produced our record, he liked it, and he's like, "Well, we should do like a thing where we just all get in one room, record it all at the same time, acoustic, a total live track, And so that's what we did with that one. At the end of the end of the recording session, we had enough time that we were able to do that. And I don't know how we had enough time, because it was crazy. We rented out the studio Soundcheck here in Nashville, and we rented it out for a month, and basically just we're there every day plugging away for a month, basically living there. And it's crazy how fast it flies by when you're recording a record. It was a great experience. So it was great. It was great having Mike Rosen out. We flew him out from San Francisco. He had worked with Tommy before on some Tesla stuff, and he's got multiple other great credits to his name. So it was great to have him come out and give us a fresh set of ears, and a different outlook to help us kind of become less attached and figure out new ways to look at things about our babies that we had spent times already like cultivating as we demoed them. So it was cool. It was a cool process.
Yeah, that's pretty. You'll probably be glad you did that in the long run when you look back at it, because I think too many people get a little self-indulgent by not bringing in somebody out from the outside to call an ugly baby ugly sometimes, and also
right.
Sometimes going, don't touch that, don't change that, don't fix that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's nice. What Brian, who are some of your influences? Who are bass players that made you really want to pick it up and go?
Like when I first started,
Sure.
Yeah, like the guy who made me want to actually be a bass player was Steve Harris of Iron Maiden. He was he was the guy who was lit the bass spark for me for sure. And then I got into Cliff Burton and Geezer Butler. Those were some of my earliest. And then John Paul Jones, that definitely was a huge influence in the early days. And like I really started getting into stuff like I like Sting's playing. And then then I just started listening to all this music, and I can even tell you some of the bass players' names are. And I just hear things and I like it. One of the modern guys I really enjoy is Joe Dart. I don't know if you know who he is. He's from a band called Wolfpack, and they're kind of like a funky jam band. Some people call music because it's like just killer bass and drums, and the guitars kind of are skanking behind it a lot. But my music listening is pretty diverse. But when I first started, I was definitely all in on the metal for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. Like I said, no, like I said, you could tell by the way you're playing and stuff like that. And then the thing is, I'm like you. Sting is a very underrated player. I mean, people don't really think about it. They think of him as a vocalist, the singer of the Police, but the dude can fucking play some bass. Plus, sing that song as he's playing. It's like that's pretty good, damn good.
I read an interview with him one time where he said, out of all the instruments that he plays, that playing bass and singing, that's the hardest one to do, is to sing while he plays bass. And I was like, makes me feel better, Snake.
Or if you're like Getty, you were playing bass, you're singing, you're playing keyboards, and also you're playing bass pedals with your feet at the same time. That dude was multi-talented.
Yeah. And it's like, as far as you got me thinking about influences there a little bit. Probably one of the biggest unintentional influences to my playing, because I never really thought of him as a great bass player until much later in life. But the band is one of my all-time favorite bands I've ever had, and that's Roger Waters. And I just listened to Pink Floyd so much that he really has, I hear it sometimes when I'm playing some more like mellow and trippy type stuff. I'm like, oh man, like he's such a subliminal influence to my playing for sure.
I'll go along with that one. I'm sure by now my bandmates are tired. Every time I sound check my bass, I play Money.
I'm sure they are.
Oh, shut up, Dennis.
Sorry, you cut out, Brian.
I was wondering, any of you guys play music together?
Actually,
Dennis and I did for a brief period of time.
And then he left us for a country band. I don't know what the hell happened.
Which band has been gigging?
Well, we had COVID hit us, so we didn't do anything. Plus, our other guitar player, he's got like 3 bands, so I'm just So anyway, it was fun. It's fun. I kind of retired, semi-retired. I got some arthritic issues with my hands. I'm old.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just had elbow surgery here, and I was very concerned that I may never ever play bass again. So I'm happy to still be playing. That's for sure.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Do you get bassist elbow? Is that a thing? Can you get that, like tennis elbow?
Well, it's not because we're playing the bass.
It's not because of that.
Probably because you got
trying to cut you off.
It's probably because you got an Ampeg head and you got to carry like a 800-pound head around.
That would definitely be more likely. No, it was I hurt myself yanking on something and tore a muscle, and then it caused there.
Like, see, we'd high five you, but we're glad we're far away.
I gave you a Zoom high five. You went there, and I was just laughing. Sorry.
I yanked it too hard, basically, and I hurt a muscle, and then I lived with it for like almost a year, and that didn't do it any favors, and so I had to get a surgery on it.
Yeah, as we get older, I'll tell you what, it's you can do the silliest thing. Just get out of bed in the morning, and you're just something. When you're a kid, you could fall off a house and you're fine. You get out of bed when you're my age, and it's like, God damn, I just pulled something.
There's a saying that I was told a long time ago, and I'm finally starting to understand what it means as I get older, and that is your body or your mind may forget, but your body never will. And like that is so true. Every time I wake up and all my bones cracking, think about all the snowboarding accidents and all the crazy biking accidents and stuff.
Hey, I'm old enough now I can hurt myself sneezing.
I had a friend doing that one time.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah. Dangerous.
I cut you off again.
I just said it's a dangerous world out there.
It is. Well, tell our listeners and viewers where they can find Resist and Bite on the interwebs.
Go see our video on YouTube, The Myth I'm Living, and the new one, Fate, and resistandbite.com, Resist and Bite on all social media platforms, and keep an eye out for the record coming out at the end of.
Right on. Well, we appreciate you coming on the show. Hang out for a second while I take us out of here. Y'all visit us on agesofrock.com. Check out our social media links and our past episodes. And until next time, peace out. Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.